Hi, I'm Hillary Esser, bringing you this week's Digital Dose of Art from Cedarhurst Center for the Arts in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Today I'm excited to share with you the story of our floating sculpture titled Dancers that you can see behind me floating on the Cedarhurst Pond. This sculpture was created in 1994. It was a commissioned piece, which means it was made specifically for Cedarhurst. It was funded by the generosity of the late Gunter and Florence Glass, and it was created by North Carolina artist Martha Ensman. Ensman actually based the story or the inspiration of this artwork on a performance piece that she had done, where she detailed the courtship of a male and female, in which the male became so frustrated that he resorted to a lasso in order to catch his female. So, as you look at these two pieces, they are actually anchored very differently in the water in order to create different patterns as they float along the top of the pond. The male piece, which is taller, about 10 feet, he has kind of the hoop or the lasso on top, and he is anchored directly down in the center of the lake so that as he floats, he creates kind of a swivel or circular pattern. The female, on the other hand, is about 7 feet tall, and she is anchored to a cable that extends from the center of the lake off to the side, and she floats more gracefully up and down the lake so that she kind of teases her male counterpart as she floats just beyond his reach. This sculpture is crucial to Cedarhurst for many reasons. You know, it's one of the sculpture that people most notice just because they float. There's something really amazing and wonderful about that. But this sculpture was also in 1996 featured on the cover of A Guide to Sculpture Parks and Gardens in America, which really brought our Cedarhurst Sculpture Park a lot of national recognition. And so this piece was wonderful in putting our park on the map, so to speak. Our Director of Operations has already done a digital dose of art about the annual care and maintenance that goes into the dancers. Because they are floating sculpture, they have to be removed from the lake every winter to protect them from the freeze and thaw of the water. And then they are cleaned and often repainted before they are reinstalled here on the pond each spring. What Eric didn't detail in his digital dose of art was the fact that a lot of our sculpture here on site require a lot more thorough care and maintenance, and we call that conservation. The natural wear and tear of sculpture, because they live outside and because we are in the Midwest where we endure all 4 seasons, means that we have a lot of upkeep that goes into keeping these pieces pristine. And so back in August of 2016, we actually did some professional care for the dancers. Each sculpture on site requires a different type of care, really based on what each sculpture is made out of, the scale of the sculpture, and various other things. You know, the dancers are made of foam, which is covered in fiberglass and then painted with marine paint. So they're really very similar to boats. And so in order to conserve these pieces back in 2016, we actually found a company in West Frankfort that specializes in fiberglass and boat repair and had them do some really thorough care for the dancers to make sure that they would continue to be here at Cedarhurst for many years to come. So that's something that people don't think of, is a lot of times the care and conservation that goes into these artworks, but it's something that Cedarhurst is very committed to, you know, maintaining and preserving the artwork that we have here on the grounds, and the dancers are a prime example of that. So I love the story of the dancers. I wanted to share that with you. You know, each sculpture in our park has its own story, and so I appreciate you tuning in to listen to the story of the dancers today, and I hope you'll tune in again next week for another digital dose of art. Thank you so much.